Hello everyone, this is David Leibowitz with Philosophy of Video Game Philosophy, and it is Persona 4's 15th anniversary since the original came out. And might as well talk about Pursuing My True Self, the opening theme for the original game, and I prefer it, or at least the reincarnation version, which is where I was introduced to it, and it is, I know my Jungian psychology, I know basically how the psychology behind this theme, and this theme of all things is basically hardcore Jungian. So without further ado, I will give you singing advice. I won't give you as much musical theory advice, and I'll give you philosophical advice. Without further ado, Pursuing My True Self.
We are living our lives above with so much information. Come on, let go the remote. Don't you know you're ready on a jump for that? Turn us to both the book on the go, but I don't use. Hey, I've been cuisine. Loading, quickly reaching maximum capacity. Want it. Gonna show some my identity.
Basically, what's going on here is this is a nice little critique of technology, because it's not as hardcore as in Persona 5 Strikers, but it's there that the idea that we basically emit personas onto people on the TV. That the TV creates standards and different things that we need to live by, and this gets obviously later on exacerbated by when social media gets more popular and more in the thing, in with things. So this is just a nice little critique of social media, but it was already a case in technology. So basically, this video game is telling you to turn off the TV. It's telling you you're letting all the junk flood in. You're letting yourself be consumed by information and standards of other people that when you don't able to find it in yourself, and you don't let the news, all the falsities of the news that might be coming in. So you need to discern and think for yourself, and that's how we individuate. And technology for Jung is a way, and the advancements of science are a way in which people are blocked from finding their own selves. Earlier on in life, people would be able to possibly slightly think for themselves or have some more of a religious figure. At our current time, technology is our current religious figure. And it gets even worse with social media and AI and all that stuff that comes after.
Get up on your feet, take down the world.
This might be a reference to, because in Guilty Gear Strive, there's a line from Happy Chaos talking about the walls and Asuka. And this is sort of like, okay, we need to tear down the walls. We need to tear down our own little worlds that are created by technology and truly relate to each other. Because in Japan, this doesn't happen because you need to have a more open relationship, but people are so introverted that it's hard for people to get to each other in that way. So when you the thing about Persona 4 is that it's allowing people to accept social ideas about each other. More Persona 5 is more individual things. That's also much more socially expected, but very similar, but it's more individual resolve, while Persona 4 it's a group resolve. So basically, to tear down the walls and take up the standards, like kanji having feminine interests and other things. Like, these need to be things that allow us to, that break us from truly communicating. It's like, oh, I think you're actually pretty cool, Naoto. You can be spoilers. Yeah, you can be a woman. All right. The Hollow World is obviously, this might be a little reference to the Hollow Forest. The Hollow World actually is a reference to Hayao Kawai, who is the originator of Jungian psychology in Japan. What he refers to in the Shintō notion, which you can look at more with my Persona 4 Part 2 in the Japanese self, that I haven't put on YouTube, but I can put the link in the description for the Soundcloud and Spotify. The Hollow World is the hollowness of the Japanese self, because it's not as self-centered. It's a lot smaller, it's a lot filled with nothing. So that's why we need others to fill that nothing. Makes a lot more sense when I explain it in the sense of Japanese religion. But I'll leave that there for now.
We'll
another thing that Persona 5 Striker says again, yeah, you're locked up in your mind because your current consciousness and your ego, your conscious self blocks you from the unconscious, the hollowness, which breaks you from talking to other people because you haven't even looked into yourself and individuated. You need to look into yourself and find out who you truly are before you can talk to other people. And when people find out who they truly are, they'll be able to open up better. And that's the greatness of this song. So that's talking about how we truly form relationships.
We all trumpet a maze of relationships. Life goes on with or without you.
Life goes on with her. I mean, because in Japanese society, you're generally you're useful or you're not useful. And it's also just about lowering the ego. Like, you don't ultimately matter. Life goes on if you exist or not exist. So you got to make the most of this life. So Persona 3 Reload's coming out. There's a whole water metaphor for that. The unconscious in Jungian psychology is very much, and also in Freud, it's thought of as a seat to go under the iceberg, and there's a big blue water in there that you can go under to plunge into. There's also reference to Zen Buddhism, in the sense that the true self, which is what this is actually thought of as, is more of a Zen Buddhist idea than a Jungian idea. Because Jungian, there is no true self. There is a whole self. There's all of yourself. But the truth, like, and I think the whole point with this is that it is ultimately still getting at that your true self is all of yourself, especially with the Risei, which we talked about at the Risei video. But fundamentally, the unconscious, when you let go of the notion of your false self, the anatman, and get to no self, then in Zen Buddhism specifically, you can realize that there is a true formless oceanic self that is a very different kind, but still is more of a self than other schools of Buddhism would allow for. I search for your heart. See, the true self is created by forming of relationships. I mean, it's a nice little... So can't control the steering wheel because fundamentally your body is very emotional, very irrational, and you can't fundamentally. Jonathan Haidt talks about this in the sense of the elephant and the rider, who is slightly influenced by Freud and Jung, that your body is that you are on an elephant and there's a big part of you that is just a small part of you is rational as the rider. The elephant is making all these decisions, having all these intuitions, but you can't obviously steal the elephant with your rationality. You need to move the elephant with emotion. And that's the case with Jung as well. Jung says that we can't let reason dominate. You need emotion to be in check too and understand the irrationality of ourselves. And Veil Mystery, this is obviously Persona 4's big theme is mystery and the truth. That, again, Persona, my other analysis, I could talk about it more.
We won't get out so easily. We are living our lives, so we realize what's happening. Hey, brother, what you say?
Again, they know the truth. They know what's truly good. They're trying to get at what's truly going on in the world, and through self-understanding, you will help understand the truth outside.
Grab your things, don't miss your chance. Find your own rhythm and dance your own dance.
I'll talk about this more when we talk about Persona 4 dancing and dance and the song Dance. But dance your own dance. Like, dancing your own dance is finding your own sense of individuality, finding your own sense of rhythm. And Jung found dance therapy, which is allowing yourself to move and express yourself fully. Dance your own dance, not dance what someone else is making. And your own rhythm. This is your own move, being your own person. It's beautiful. Again, this is a little bit of Winnicott. You need to be, and Jung, like, you look into yourself, you create in the world. That's Nietzsche as well. Nietzsche says that you need to create in the world. Chart your course. Be your own self.
You must know what is ahead.
When you think about your life, you have to understand what's in it, and you have to go forward and understand that.
Driving through the
Again, this is a reference to the unconscious. Truly understanding yourself by going underneath the consciousness and integrating the shadows, the parts of the self that we reject.
ocean, living obscurity.
When we leave obscurity, it's the truth of the self. When we leave obscurity of who we are and obscurity of the world outside as well.
You are standing in the middle of another world.
A reference to the collective unconscious. The collective unconscious is not actually another world. It's just our biological makeup and the things that we are attuned to in ourselves to basically predispose to certain symbols. But obviously in Persona 4 and 5, it's thought of as a another world. In Persona 4, it's the TV world. In Persona 5, it's either mementos, the palaces, or it's the metaverse. It's different in Persona 5 Strikers. It's the different jails. There's no one connectedness. I'm not saying anything spoil Strikers, but yeah.
It's hard to figure real emotion.
I mean, especially in Japan, it's that there's a little bit of understanding of that your real emotions. You're not allowed to like certain things. You're not allowed to like a certain song. You have to be very collectivist in that way. So to feel your real emotions, like what you truly like, you need to individuate to understand that. Now, Hayao Kawaii actually, in Japanese Jungian psychology, I think this is more in line. I think Persona 3 is actually the most in line with Japanese Jungian psychology. This helps. I mean, it's with the understanding and the Buddhism, which makes sense, but it's still in a slightly more individualistic way. It's hard to feel your real emotions, though, understanding that Kawaii wants you to think and still go with the flow. But there's still a way to go with the flow and feel your real emotions. I think Kawaii would say that there is definitely a sweet spot between the two. But yeah, many people can't feel their real emotions and like what they truly like as they experience each of their shadows and come and accept them.
You are smiling in a shop with beauty.
Smiling is sure. Actually, I just realized I think what this lyric means. It's saying you can smile. This is smiling through the pain. This is very Nietzschean. You need to accept that there is pain and suffering in life, but you can smile in the wake of that pain. And we grow through suffering. We grow, and that makes life more joyful. And that's definitely a theme in Persona 5 Royal and Persona 5 Strikers. Let me help you find a place to call home. This is definitely the home. Home is a very big thing, I think, in collectivist society, in understanding that people need to be together. People need to understand each other. And to find a place to call home is to find your home. Find your people, find who you want. It's both the place in the broader Japanese society for them, but also their friendships that are truly allows them to be connected. Because you can be connected and just say, I bow my head, I do all this stuff. Or I can be connected and truly love and enjoy the beauty of life.
Let me help you find the place to go it. Oh, we all drop it. Amaze of relationships. Let goes away without.
That's saying like you're in a maze of relationships. Like one person could leave the relationship, and the structure doesn't ultimately die. So you have to understand what relationships you truly want. You can't be consumed by the relationships.
I swim in the sea of the unconscious. I search for your heart, conceal my truth.
So yeah, this was the reincarnation version. I don't care. I prefer it. But yeah, this has been David Lees with Flashfield Video Game Philosophy. Hope you enjoyed that. Hope you want to check out my other Persona content, and my Guilty Gear content. And yeah, happy 15th anniversary for Persona 4. Peace.